Alright, y'all, I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks on how to draw an eye. Okay, step one is the shape. So, your eye is kind of like an almond shape. You're going to want to start off really light. Again, I'm holding my pencil at the edge so that I can get a very light line. And then it's got this like where your tear duct is. So it's kind of got this kind of like a lemony, what the lemon looks like. And then for some people, you can look in the mirror and look at your eye, but some people have your eye's more rounded at the top and a little bit more flat at the bottom. So it is not a football shape. So we're not making a football. We are doing kind of a little bit more like a lemon. Okay? Second, we're going to do the eyeball. And your eye is a circle. So I want you to draw a circle coming out of where you drew your eyelid. Okay? So this part is where the white part of your eye is. This is going to be your iris. Okay? So here, this is going to give you kind of an idea of where to put your pupil. This is the iris and where your upper eyelid will be. So it is not like parentheses, okay? So we're not doing that. It's a circle. All right? So we're going to erase this later, but we're going to leave it there for now because this is how we're going to draw. We're going to figure out where our pupil is. So some people's pupils are really big. Pupils dilate and dilate meaning they'll get bigger or they will contract and get smaller depending on how much light you are around. So if you are around a lot of light, then your pupil will contract really small. So draw however big or small you want your pupil to be, but I'm just going to draw it about this size so that we can have some room for drawing on the iris. So the reason why we're leaving this here is it's going to give us kind of a guide to draw the upper eyelid. Okay? So this is where you have that crease when you open your eye. And your bottom eyelid, you can actually kind of see the inner eyelid. And then you have some people have like some more lines under their eyes. Some people don't. But this is called the waterline. And this is where our eyelashes grow, okay? And this is just kind of giving us a little bit of depth on your eyeball. So now we're going to erase this here because it gave us a little bit of an idea of where our upper eyelid will go, right? Now, eyelashes. These are like flicks. They are not curves or parentheses, okay? So we're just, your you're going to flick it out. And they don't need to all be like the same length. You're going to want to overlap them, crisscross them, whatever. But you don't want them to be straight like that, okay? That's not usually how eyelashes grow. And if you want, we're going to darken this up a little bit. But they don't actually grow like, the same with the bottom line, they don't really grow like right out of your eye. So you want to kind of start your eyelash line a little bit out, a little bit away from where the whites of your eyes start, okay? So when you draw your eyelashes, the ones out here are going to come out as they get closer to the top of your eyelid. They're going to kind of curve up and then curve out like this. Okay? And you can vary how dark you want them or how light. But basically, that's kind of how your eyelashes go. So, now, and you can curve them a little bit more if you want. They don't have to be that straight, but I just kind of, for the sake of these eyelashes are going to be freshly curled and mascaraed. Okay, so the bottom eyelashes are a little bit shorter, and they aren't, there's not as many, right? But it's the same kind of idea. That it's more of a flick kind of motion than a true curl or whatever. So you can draw a bunch of eyelashes and make your eyelashes really, really thick. So now we are going to shade. Okay, so we are going to use the side of our pencil, like I've told you before, and kind of use little circles, back and forth motions so that you blur. You don't want it to be so clear that your pencil lines are so clear. You want to kind of blur those lines, right? So we're going to have some shadow where our eyelid is. And this is just to show that we have depth in our eye, right? And over here, this is where we're going to start to see shadow of the bridge of the nose. So this is going to be darkest where that crease is. And light here, because our eyes are a sphere, right? So even though they're in our heads, it's still a circle. So this will be lighter, and then this will be where the bridge of the nose starts. but we're not going to do the nose today. Okay? Now, you can go back and darken your eyelashes later, but here we're going to shade where our eyelid meets the white part of our eye, and show that, you know, our eyelid has depth. And also, we're going to move that shadow into where our eyes are. Now, we're not going to draw the red veins that exist in our eyes today, but like I said, our eyeballs are a sphere. They sit in our heads, and they look like they're almond shapes or whatever kind of shape your eyes are because of our eyelids, but that's the shape of our eyelids. That's not the shape of our eyeballs. Our eyeballs are about, they're circular and round. So this is why we need to shade the inside of our eyes where the white parts are. Now, it's going to be darker in the corners, and your eyelid, believe it or not, creates a shadow on your eyeball. It's very faint, but it's still there. And then your tear duct is where things are going to get a little bit darker again. But this part of your eye is very wet because it's where your tears kind of come from. So you're going to want to leave a highlight or two to show that that area is a little bit moist. And if you need to, you can like erase it out a little. If you want, just kind of use your own judgment. It's your drawing, your eye. You can do kind of however you want it. You want your person crying, you can draw a little tear. Now, the tears are a little tricky because technically tears are clear, right? So what you'll do is you'll want to erase out a little bit of your shading here. To show where the tears are coming from. And when you draw a tear